Welcome to another episode of Know Thyself. Let's continue to discover the self that could be lost in this world of trouble and tribulation. But we have a God who promises us and says, in this world you have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I am with you and I've conquered this world. We have with us Father Michael Karimatum, who's a doctor on the sacred scriptures, also teaches at the Mary Mother Seminary. Also Sister Glorista, who's been trained in the United States as a counselor. So Father, continuing with what we've been talking, another episode, especially at the foot of the cross, we see Mother Mary again. So if I could just read from the scriptures, Gospel of John. Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleopas, and Mary Magdalene. Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing near. He said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her to his own home. So, Father, there's another incident where we have the use of this word woman. If you can elaborate on that and then also get us those insights which we need for this.
Yeah, and it is very strange and interesting. Mary just vanished out of sight at Cana.
Right.
There was a need. She came. She presented the need before Jesus and asked the people to do what he tells you. Mm-hmm. And then we don't see her anymore. The 3 years of Jesus, all miracle working, all ministry, she is nowhere to be seen. It is not even when the triumphal entry to Jerusalem with the Hosanna, nothing. And finally, we see her just at the foot of the cross. Mm-hmm. And there also, Jesus tells her, "Woman." You see a arch going from Cana to Calvary. Okay. At Cana, Mary stands and she's called woman. Mm. At Calvary, again, she is there and Jesus calls her woman. So the woman at Cana and the woman at Calvary. So they are related. And Cana and Calvary are also related. Mm-hmm. At Cana it is said, Jesus performed the first sign by which he manifested his glory. And the last is the exaltation on the cross. So Cana is presented as a foreboding, as a sign, a prefigurement of what is going to happen at Calvary. So Mary is there where she is needed. Mm-hmm. At Cana there was a need. Nobody knew the situation, but she knew. And here at Calvary, it's a very dangerous situation now. She knows, she believes that her son is a son of God. Nobody else believes that. For the religious leaders, he is a false prophet, a blasphemer. For the political authority Romans, he is a rebel king. And so both the civil court and the religious court have condemned him to the capital punishment. Since the Jews had no authority to execute capital punishment, they handed him over to the Romans. And they brought another accusation, that he claims to be king and he forbids people to pay taxes to Romans and he is inciting revolution, etc. All this, the religious people are making this accusation against Jesus before Pilate because they want to kill him anyway. And now, when he was arrested in the garden, all the disciples fled. And the Gospel of Mark says there was a young man who was following with just a cloak around on him. And when they got hold of the cloak, he left it and ran away naked. That's how the story ends of discipleship, the Gospel of Mark. Everybody deserted him. He is all alone. And then we know the story of Peter who was following, but at the same time he denies, "I don't know the men." Right. Nobody. And here in the Gospel of John, there are women standing at the foot of the cross. And John says there's a beloved disciple. There's a dispute who this beloved disciple is. Is it Mark? Is it John? We don't know. Usually it is said it is John. We don't know exactly. Anyhow, there one thing, Mary stands at the foot of the cross. That is a very risky position, because anybody who sympathized with this criminal is also liable to be arrested and executed. Because to show a sympathy in public to a criminal is considered a crime itself. And here is the mother and a few women who dare to stand there. And they stand. So that is one thing we see of Mary. To the end, follows Jesus. So the prophecy of Simeon becomes a reality now. A cross piercing her heart. Nobody ever believed that this should be the end. The Son of God. What happened to all the annunciation by the angel and all this protection she believed or thought? Why does God allow such a thing? If this is his son, or am I mistaken? And the cry of Jesus on the cross. Mm-hmm. My God, why have you forsaken me? And who is this? Is he a disappointed person? Is he a criminal? Or am I mistaken? Anything could have happened to Mary. And how that happened, how she stands there. And then comes the voice, woman, behold your son. We have published a book on Our Lady as a comics. In 1987 was Marian year, and we published a book, and this 96 pages. And in the introduction, somehow it comes to me, Mary gave birth to her only son without pain, child Jesus. But here, she becomes the mother of humanity in such a mortal pain. So this is considered as a birth pang, so to say, of the humanity as a new humanity is being born. So she becomes the mother, not only of this one particular disciple. That's why he said the disciple whom Jesus loved. That can be me or you, anybody. So there, Mary realizes that this death on the cross is not the end. So this is the purpose for which he has come. And this is the journey, the journey that Mary has set him on. In Cana it was said, my time has not yet come. And you know, what to you and to me, woman? This was it. Now she realizes. But still she stays there, unflinching, giving all self. Behold thy servant, behold thy handmaid, let thy will be done. Let your word be done in me. So a total surrender, a total acceptance, and that's why some of the fathers say Mary becomes the co-redemptrix. Even though the church has not accepted that fact, so she becomes it's a participation in the most intimate participation in the redemptive work of Jesus. It's a person who consciously, really participates in that. And if anybody can say, this is my body, as the priests are doing in every mass, Mary is the only person who can, with full right, says, this is my body, and this is my blood.
Beautiful.
There is no other human.
Right.
It's her own body, her own blood.
Right.
So there we see, I think Mary is the first priest after Jesus Christ. If you say the participation in the priestly ministry of Jesus, this is there, Mary standing there, offering to the Father her only son. So I think that's what the meaning of standing at the foot of the cross means. So now she realizes the prophecy of Simeon that she did not realize at that time, now she realizes, and she accepts it, and she stands there. And she is not disappointed. There are filmmakers who make Mary cry, weep, and make all sorts of hysteric. No, she stands there as a priest at the altar. As Abraham stood with the knife, Isaac on the altar. But Abraham was spared. At the last moment, Abraham was spared, but Mary
was not.
So here we see the character of the mother. And I think we can add something to the...
I was thinking about Mary coming, Jesus on the way of the cross. She knew that he had done nothing wrong. But her son was being taken to be crucified. For her, how it is to a mother to see her son being led to the scaffold. It's so painful. And she must have thought, the baby, the beloved child she brought up, and the child who had gone around and done all the miracles and everything else, and everybody is so popular. Now, nobody is there. And here he is alone carrying the cross, and she meets him there. And there are 2 other women with him. That's all the company there. And there, only 1 disciple was there. Or everybody else left him. And for her, it's the excruciating pain in the sense, for a mother, an untimely loss of a child. And of a child, okay, they may lose children due to illness, due to accident, due to something else. This is deliberate manipulation, and purposefully these people have rejected him and is putting him on the cross. And whenever I think about the pain of that mother, it's really excruciating pain. Then to walk behind him without faltering. In a counseling situation, taking leave is very important. In the sense, when a person dies, you have to say goodbye to that person. I had in counseling situations, there are people, those who have not said goodbye to their father or husband or whatever it is there.
Mother, yeah.
And I take them through a process of recalling all the incidences from their life itself. Whatever they want to say, they talk about it, and finally they would say goodbye to the person. And help the person to relive, to say things, because the best thing will be that if there is possibility, the husband and wife or the son and daughter, the dying person and the other person, talk about the relationship, talk about all that has happened with them, and then finally say goodbye, to come to a termination in that sense. But in the case of Mary, there was no opportunity to say anything to Jesus. But she was there at the foot of the cross. In the silence, lot of communication was going on. And she knew she was losing her son. She had to say goodbye to him there. Maybe she was aware that he will be resurrected, but it will not be the same as it is now.
Exactly. Yeah, you
It's
have to go through this too.
Yeah, because when he comes back, it's on his terms.
Right.
I will not be able to see him. Here, this life is coming to an end. And there she had to say goodbye to him, to that life. And also I think Mary Magdalene and also the other Mary, the other women who followed him, had to say goodbye to him. The relationship in this level was ending. There is a finalization. And there will be a new beginning, but it is as it is now. And here Mary had to say goodbye to her son. And it is, a son dying on the bed, at least is one thing. Here he is on the cross, excruciating pain. And it is so painful in the sense that somebody you love is suffering. And vicariously you go through that suffering. Every nail, the hitting, the hammering of the nail, she must have felt it in her body.
See, now coming back, so start with again the beginning, when the Annunciation came. So the word Mary gave, the last word, behold the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word.
And
So that was a total surrender. Maybe at that time she did not feel this would be. But this is the sacrifice. No?
Yeah.
We had spoken about sacrifice, sacrificere.
Right.
So the firstborn is being sacrificed, given to. It was never expected, but I think this is what we have also to see what happens in our life. So once you say a total yes to God's will, let it be done to me according to your word, that is your will. Then whatever comes, I have to take it.
Absolutely.
And I think this is the example of Mary. She stands there. She doesn't cry. She doesn't, well, it's painful, but she accepts it. And is it not the same that happens to us? Things may happen that you have illness, whatever, you lose people who are so dear to you.
us, yeah.
You can't change it. And there is no point in crying and making a scene. Accept it.
So
And then I am sure that Mary was aware that this is not the end. So the predictions, Jesus, whenever he said the passion predictions, is on the third day I'll rise again. So that we'll do in the next episode. But Mary was so sure that this is not the end.
Right, right.
That's why she did not go searching for the tomb. No,
Right,
she didn't.
right,
When everybody was searching, then the early Sunday morning, the other three women went, but Mary did not,
think
because
so,
she's the
yeah.
only person who remained faithful, who believed
Very strong and profound
to the
faith.
end.
Yeah,
To the end. To
Blessed is the
believe
one
that-
who believed. So here, you see, we can do a lot of investigation in this matter of faith. How strong is your faith? When the faith can be tested when there is something, a disaster happens in your life. Otherwise, when everything is going well, there is no problem. But something unexpected happens. Maybe a total breakdown of your family relationship or your business or your health, anything. And then still, can you stand?
right, right.
So this is Mary standing at the foot of her only son's cross
Wow.
and did not run away. And she was ready to take. I think one more example I want to bring in. It was P.J. Anthony, who was a counselor here, one of the leaders in Divine. Once he told me, Father, today I understand the pain of the Blessed Mother. That's what happened. Well, we have an AIDS center here. There are some 40 patients or so. Yesterday, one young man, 25 years from Trivandrum, died. And his parents was here. And as usual, Father Panakel took the body in ambulance. The parents went to the next parish. The parish said, no, we cannot bury him here. And from the parish, they had sent word to all the parishes around that burying an AIDS patient can contaminate the air, it can be contagious, nobody. So from one to the other, they went to 7 parishes, he said, that day with an ambulance with his body. Nobody wanted to take him. And then finally, they brought the body to Kalamashiri and cremated. And then this P.J. Anthony told me, today I realize the pain of the Blessed Mother. Where am I going to bury my son? He's a criminal, contempt by Rome. Where will I take my son? The pain. So that is something she had
The
gone through.
ultimate poverty
Yeah.
Right.
at the cross, foot of the cross.
Yeah, Mary did not know that Joseph of Arimathea would be coming.
Coming there and
That is pain.
Right.
The pain in accepting the redemption. That is to the extreme. But still, she trusted.
Another question that I get here is when we spoke about saying goodbye to people, what if suppose people are still holding on to those
Yeah,
experiences, memories? I've seen a lot of people, because somebody passed away very close to them, they still hold on to that and still reliving those moments. But is there some kind of an illness that could come in even at the mental level? And yeah,
Well, there is, in the sense, we had a woman in our class. And her father died when she was about 9 years old.
okay,
And she was very close to her father. And she felt it was her own personal loss, in the sense, not even more than her mother, she felt the loss. And every anniversary, went to the cemetery, she was crying. And finally, when this she shared, I had gone through this process of saying goodbye. And I brought her back to the time her father was there. And at one moment she smiled. And I asked, what happened? Well, I remember him putting the flower on my head for her first communion. And she smiled, and then she really went through that experiences with his father. And finally I said, now can you let him go? and say whatever you want to say to him. Say all those things and then let him go. And she did it. She told him that your loss has been, it has created a vacuum in my life, nothing could fill it, and all those things she said. And finally she said, Daddy, you have to go. I'll let you go. For the first time in the cemetery after that, she went to the love for the father did not take away, but for the first time she did not cry. Everybody was surprised. And because this is the closure in the sense.
Right.
We can hold on to the person, but we can hold on to the memories. It is saying goodbye does not mean that we stop loving, but it means that we bring it to a closure.
We've come to terms with the death. We agree to it.
And allow the person to go. And when even with the partners, we prepare them in the sense, in a partner, suppose one of the person has cancer, the other one, we know the end will be coming soon. And don't wait until, usually what they do is that wait until the person cannot even talk anymore. And this, but when they can talk about the time they met first time and how the life has been to there, the good and bad, talk about everything. Take maybe days in the sense, and take the time to talk about it, and finally say that, okay, when I go, I don't want you to be, I don't think the dead person wants the other person to be crying here and holding on to that. No, I want you to have a life of your own, for the children, for the rest of the family. So this way, they kind of closure it. And still death will be painful, but at the same time, there is a way of allowing the person to go in freedom. In our program, counseling, the last week was spent on termination. Each person was asked to talk about all the experiences they had. The relationship, positive and negative, with the patients, with the group, with everything there. And towards the end, they began to say, oh, now we are tired, we want to go. And it come to a saturation point in there, and we used to do that. Saturate them with that feeling.
Basically venting it out completely.
Venting it out completely.
Yeah.
So that they will not vent it out anywhere else.
Right. So even as a counselor, you should be very careful because you need to be fit for the job, otherwise it's a problem.
Yes. And there, we have to terminate the counselor saying that if you need to come back to me, you can talk to me, but I will not be seeing you regularly anymore.
Right.
And that way termination. Termination with any relationship is important.
Right.
And this we have to do because what they say is it's like investing. We may have a bank deposit wherever we are. Here we make an emotional deposit.
Correct. Right.
And when we have deposited that, if we take that deposit with us, we will have a good starting in the other place.
Beautiful.
If we leave the deposit here and then go there, we start to fringe on other people.
It's exactly what we teach even in emotional intelligence. It's an emotional deposit. Place.
And so take it back in the sense of it is like withdrawing the emotional investment. Then when we go to the other place, you will be free to start again. And
I think this is valid for any relationship. For example, the teachers in a school or the parish priest in a parish or an officer. So taking leave is very important. And very often it happens, the person who has left this parish comes back and interferes in the other.
Right.
But if they have said goodbye, if they have said goodbye to all the experiences there, and according to the relationship he had with the people, then he can leave the parish, go start, he'll have the energy to start new in the other parish.
I think one of the places where they really want to go away is maybe in a divorce. They don't come back sometimes. What's your experience on that, sister? If you have counseled any people in divorce?
In divorce, in the sense that one thing it came to me is that a woman came to me to register her students there, and she was on the verge of divorce. And I asked her what was the process and the things like that. Then I said, okay, now you are going to terminate the relationship. Think about the children. Think about all the possibilities. What is the possibility of mending the relationship? That is where it was not totally gone, and I said there were some financial issues and things like. I said, talk with your husband about it, discuss it, and they got back together, and the children were the happiest of all. And they were because the father and mother was together.
Wow.
And this is, so if we get them, usually by the time we get a partner into our hands, the relationship is gone. If there is even some part of the relationship there, try to go back to the time, because they were in love with each other and they loved each other so much. Go back to that time, recall it, and renew their love for each other.
Beautiful.
And then they will be able to rebuild it.
So Mary was called to bring the Son of God to this earth, make him grow up, and finally offer him back. So whatever be the age, 33, whatever, she did her work. And finally, at the foot of the cross, give back and taking leave. And now she will be having other duty that we'll see in the next episode. So here is a person who has accomplished the task given to her by the Father. Painful, difficult, but she was responsible to the core.
Yeah.
And that's what I think
I think that reflects in the very name of Mary. Right? It's quite bitter and yeah, she must have gone through all those bitter experiences.
Now, very often we pray to have some kind of favor from her. We forget the person of Mary, what she has gone through. We take her as a person who distributes all sorts of gifts as a Christmas, as a Santa Claus.
There was in the initial version, they're saying, you will crush the head of the serpent, but he will hurt
his heel.
Yeah.
And this is the crushing in the sense.
Right.
On the cross.
Yeah.
Which was happening.
Okay.
Yes, there are such wonderful insights to understand this one character who sustained herself in that call. And that's what we're called to. That's exactly what the Word of God says. He who endures to that end will be saved. Let's focus and let's remain in this love of God so that we fulfill the call that He has given for us. So if you have any more questions, you can write to us on knowthyselfdtv@gmail.com. Till we meet you in another episode, God bless you all. Thank you, Father.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you.